Well, thanks, guys. We've got Anthony from Viridian Glass here today. And one of my favorite things about this project is the friendships that you build and the expertise that people have in this country. It blows my mind every time. And you'll find the same thing today with Anthony, who's got a long, well, he doesn't want to talk about how long he's been in the game, but it's been a very long time. And for the last 14 years, he's been at Viridian Glass, and we're actually right next to a very iconic building, Deakin Edge, which has got Viridian Glass in it as well. I've used the product extensively on my house, first of all, back in 2005. We used Lightbridge on the house in King Lake back in 2014, the fireproof house that I built for Dan and Vicky in King Lake. And we've also used it in Dalesford on the house that was built there. Plus, we've used it on the greenhouse restaurants. And there's a couple of reasons for it. It's high quality, it performs really well, and it's locally made. So obviously, I'm really keen to support that. But the glass that we have in this building is next level, and it's so far superior to anything I've used in the past. And I'll get Anthony to explain a bit more about it. But first, you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Anthony Gunther. I'll be honest. I've been in the building materials supply for 30 years. This is my 31st year. 14 years at Viridian. Prior to that, I worked in wall linings and did a stint in joinery as well. And for the last 14 years with Viridian, I've worked in various roles around technical support, architectural representation, and now I head up the marketing and product development side of the business. And yeah, it was just good timing that when we first started talking about this project in its infancy, we were developing this next generation product, or what we call Lightbridge Next. And what we've tried to do over the years is just develop new products and get the very best products available and try and get them to market as quickly as possible. And I think we've done a really good job with this product, where all the smarts in the product, which we'll talk about, are all invisible. So what consumers want is a normal looking glass. They want a glass that doesn't look any different to what they've had previously or what they grew up with. You know, they want high performance glass around acoustics, and they want maximum daylight. But what we're finding now with the building constraints is people need high performance glass, and that means they need toned glass or grey glass or double glazing. And so what we found when we did some research about 7 or 8 years ago is that people didn't want anything that looked different. And so it was really good timing that when we started talking about this project, we thought, hey, let's try and build all this in and use this opportunity to share that with not only your project, but also launch it and do this initiative. So it was really, really good timing.
It's actually, I find it amazing how many people don't realize that the glass is still made here in Australia. And right here, well, this glass was made right here in Dandenong.
Yeah, and processed here as well.
Yeah, so how many years has that factory been? It started with the car industry, is that right? Or
so the history of Viridian, I suppose the businesses started originally in 1856, so a long time ago. And the business was known as Pilkington for a long time. And then in 2007, the business was acquired by CSR Building Products, and we had a rename of Viridian. So the Viridian brand's been around, I think I joined about 6 months before the rebrand of the business. So about 15 years ago, or 14 years ago or something, we rebranded the business Viridian, but it used to be that Pilkington business. And yeah, the glass is the business makes float glass at Dandenong under the new name of Oceania, and then that glass at Dandenong shipped across to our Clayton factory. So the windows, or the glass in those windows in your project there and that project in Fed Square, were actually made at Clayton. So that's where we've cut the glass, we've toughened the glass, and we've made it into high-performance double-glazed units. So not only is a part of the base glass made in Dandenong, but that's also then processed in our factory at Clayton. So it's a very, very short cycle between when it's first started as a raw material to a finished product and delivered to your site. There's probably only about 45 or 50 kilometre circle.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously that provides a lot of employment as well, the fact that you're actually processing it here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 13 sites across Australia. We have sites in Queensland and New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, and South Australia. And we employ around about 400 odd people. And that local knowledge that is in the business and the breadth of knowledge in the business is one of our biggest strengths, I think.
And Lightbridge next. So, I mean, one of the biggest benefits, I mean, I love, from a design point of view, I love that you don't have that silver strip in between the two. You've got like a matte black that almost becomes invisible, that separates the two layers of glass. But what makes it so incredible is it's acoustic. Like everyone that comes in for a tour, we bring them through, and especially in the bedroom, people walk in and they just cannot believe how acoustically it performs. Do you want to explain?
Look, and this is why what's the difference between Lightbridge and Lightbridge Next? The next part is the acoustic glass that we incorporate into the product. So, to give you an example, if you look at most people tuning in tonight, they will live in a house if it's got 4 or 5 mil glass in it. Without getting too nerdy, the RW, or the weighted reduction of sound transmission, is around about 31. It's not that great. And in actual fact, what we've got there in that bedroom is it's an 8 mil Lightbridge Next. So that's got an actual RW of 41. And in actual fact, that 10 RW difference is like reducing the noise by half. Or it's like moving the building 25 or 30 meters away from the noise source. So it's a real audible difference. And most people who go into a project where there's acoustic glass will actually say exactly what you've said, is that how quiet is it in this room? And so that's what we've tried to do with this product. We've squeezed all the most advanced technologies available with solar performance, solar reflective coating. We've put acoustic glass into the product as a standard. We've put in the warm edge spacer that you spoke about to reduce condensation risk. And so we've taken all those next generation products and just made them mainstream. And so when people look at that shot there, they'll look at that and go, well, that just looks like my home that's 30 or 40 or 50 years old. But the glass is very different. It's so different that if you looked at them, it's like trying to compare a Model T Ford to a Formula One car. The performance difference is just fundamentally different, but it looks the same. And so when we're trying to beat this challenge around building compliance, we're trying to do it with products that look normal, but perform very, very different. In actual fact, the big difference is that glass really performs like a grey glass, but it has a clear glass appearance. And that's important because we want that connectivity between inside and out. You know, I can see clearly through that window, and I can see the colour rendering outside is the same as what it would be if the door was open. But the big difference is that glass, that home there is performing like a dark grey glass. And so, but you're still getting that 80% visible light transmission. So you're still flooding the building full of light, but you're actually performing like a grey glass building. And so that's the beauty about this glass. We can manipulate now through solar control coatings and manipulate the daylight transmission to be as high as normal glass, but perform very, very differently, but without looking odd. Most people we speak to who are building a house would say, I want the best products, but I don't want to look different to my neighbours, or I don't want to alienate a part of the market if I want to sell in the future, where people say, I don't want to buy that house because it's got grey glass or green glass. So we're able to tick all those boxes and deliver a really great product that looks normal but performs differently.
For me,
So we do a, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. For me, windows are, you know, from a design perspective, so important because I'm obsessed with, you know, from sunrise through to how the light travels during the middle of the day. Winter sun is one of the most amazing things you can, you know, here in Melbourne especially, you've got these incredible clear days. It's cold, but the sun comes beaming in. And the way I've designed this place is that the sun will actually fill the whole space in the middle of winter. And when it's summer, there's no sun coming into the space at all. And
Yeah.
it's you know, the light that changes in autumn, you've got that beautiful light. Even the winter light is incredible, and then you've got the summer light. And what we're actually doing is we're posting a photo of a plate of food every single day on our Future Food System Instagram account, and you can already see, even though we've only been posting for 3 months, you can already see the different light on those plates, which I love, you know, because it shows you how the light changes. It's much brighter in the middle of summer, of course, and I don't think people take that into account quite enough, you know, that being able to appreciate sunsets and being able to appreciate certain cloud flow. Like I love having really high windows as well so that you can actually see the sky from when you're sitting inside.
Well, that's right. And you know, the thing is that you can always control it. Like if you got too much or you want some privacy, you can bring a blind down or screen it. But when you don't have it, you can't, or you have to have less of it. It's problematic because you can't get any more in. Like, you know, unless you want to open the window, if you've got dark grey glass and you're cutting, like the performance that we have in that building there, if we put grey glass in, your daylight transmission would be as low as 60%. 40%. So you lose 60%. We're at 80%. So you've got double the amount of light, but the same performance as grey glass. You know, if we put a green glass in there, you might bump it up a bit. You might get 60% daylight or 70%, but you still have a green glass and your colour render.
Yeah, I can understand how it alters whereas with this glass, I feel like exactly like you said, it feels like there's no glass in there at all.
That's right. We've done a really great job of being magicians and make it all disappear and look normal. And that's the thing about glass. People take it for granted. Like we've lived with it for centuries. It keeps the rain and the wind out. Sometimes it keeps the noise out. But up until around the last 20 years, that's all it did. It did nothing more than what it did 100 years ago. And now we've got the technology to bring all these smarts into buildings and be able to almost double the amount of glass we can put into a building without sacrificing comfort levels. And what that does for your own personal connectivity to the outside, be able to see the kids play, have that transparency between the outside and the inside, I think that's just an amazing thing. And look, I often joke that, you know, if you came from another planet to this planet here, you've got this clear rock that you can see through. It's a clear rock, right? And it does all these wonderful things about, you know, blocking sound, blocking heat, making you feel comfortable, letting daylight in, making you feel great. You know, it is pretty an amazing sort of product, but we sort of have just lost sight of that. We see through it, not at it. And so you can tell I'm pretty passionate about glass, but, you know, I think it's a great product. I think if it was invented today, it'd be one of those products that people just go, wow, look at that. But we just take it for granted. But it's just glass.
One of the things I did about would be 20 years ago. So every 8 years you actually cool down the furnace, and you take the glass out on the inside, like you almost like physically jackhammer out the glass.
Well, it's actually a little bit longer than that.
Created a sculpture out of these were like boulders, and it was amazing. And then it was all gone and then now I've got to wait 10 years for it to happen again, you know.
Yeah, we call it a campaign. That's where we basically demolish the furnace, break all the bricks down. Yeah, we get the jackhammers out. So the furnace at Dandenong, you know, the technical guys there will ring me tomorrow if I get these numbers wrong. But you pretty much got sort of a metre deep of liquid glass, about 5,000 tonnes of liquid glass. and it's molten. It's about 1,300 degrees Celsius, and it's basically the size of it's about 50 meters long by about 20 meters wide, whatever. And wow. But yeah, that takes a toll, and so every 13 to 15 years we'll demolish that, get the jackhammers out. Some of us in the grass trade have got little boulders, and but most of that goes outside. And then when we rebuild that campaign and rebuild the furnace, we'll just put that back in and melt it back down, because it's far cheaper and easier to melt glass and melt sand. But yeah, that's the amazing thing about glass is just take it outside, get rocks, throw the boulders back in, and they do make pretty good doorstops. I have to admit, you just got to buff them out a little bit.
I love the colour. Another thing that I found really fascinating when I went there. Yeah. Sorry, one thing I found really fascinating was all these signs showing aluminium cans with a big red line through. When I went to your factory, it's like, wow, these guys are really, they want you to drink out of a glass bottle here. But
no, it's not that at all. I tell you what it is. Aluminium is the worst product you can get into a glass furnace, because what will happen is the aluminium will start fizzing, and you'll get these little microscopic bubbles all the way through. So a contaminant like aluminium in our furnace would be, shut it down and get it out, rebuild it, and move on. So it's not that we want people to drink out of glass cups or bottles. We just can't allow a bit of aluminium to get into our furnace. It would be quite quite dangerous for. Not dangerous. It would be quite devastating for the business to get that in there.
Yeah.
But look, it's one of those things that we police very seriously, because it's one of those things that will cause us a lot of grief.
I remember the numbers. You didn't tell me, but somebody else did. If it has to shut down because of contamination or something like that, it's like $1 million a day or something. Is that? Would that be? Well, it was a crazy.
No, I wouldn't be able to put a number on it, but look, it's a serious. It would be a serious issue for us, and look, thankfully, those checks and balances are in place. There's magnetic scanners that scan the sand before it goes in. So the risk is very, very minimal, but it's like anything, you just want to protect your asset. You don't want something to happen and causes a lot of grief.
You can actually see through our kitchen window that's currently, you can see that the amazing Deakin Edge. Joe's actually just about to open it. We're quite proud of this window. So this uses two struts. Amazing. And it works so beautifully that, it's so easy to open, so easy to close, and keeps everyone dry as well. And so even when we had that downpour the other night, it just worked so well. But you get this, it's probably, I would say, everyone's favorite feature in the whole house. They walk in and as soon as they see that window opening up, it's like, oh, wow. I'm not sure what the weight of the glass is, but I think in total it's 350 kilos is that door leaf. And we've worked with Forster Technical Protection System, Steve Wilcock and Forster to, make it work. And it's sometimes, it's not until you actually install it that it's worked. We're all a little bit nervous, but
I've never seen a horizontal door, but when I build my studio out in the back, that it's going to have one of those. It's just amazing. Like I've seen a lot of things in Windows, but I saw it in the flesh and I thought, wow, this is great. And you can basically swing off it.
Yeah, that's right. And it doesn't matter how much wind there is, or it's really well engineered. And I mean the window profile helps with that as well. So, and we've actually got breezeway louvers which use your glass as well. Which was great to know, because one of my rules was that it had to be made in Australia, and they said, "Yep, the glass is made in Australia." So, and the rest of the profile is made in Queensland. So that was and that's worked really well. That's in the outdoor space, which is like the back of the building, which is a 3-level. We call it the spine, and it's filled with at the top with aquaponic systems, but allows you to, get fresh air through the place and grow lots of food in the stairwell.
Yeah, look, I think louvers, they've been around for hundreds of years. Look, my house is classic Californian bungalow. It's about 106 years old now. And I've got the original louvers in the house, which are designed exactly the same as your building, across from each other from different rooms to allow that cross ventilation. So on a hot day, you get that southerly change, open the louvers on one side of the house, open the louvers on the other side of the house, and it just blows across. And it's a great innovation, I suppose. Not that I think anybody has done anything different. Just getting that air infiltration in is one of those ways you can naturally cool down a building in a very quick time. And so what's really interesting, when I was down there just before Christmas, just seeing all those louvers open and feeling it as you walk up those stairs, just feeling the difference in temperature. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's on a hot day. We've had some pretty hot days here. It's absolutely beautiful getting that fresh air movement. Even when there isn't a breeze, because you're opening, like what I do is at the bottom, say east side, I'll open the louvers, and then I'll open them at the top west side. And you get this natural draw convection happening. And it's, really great way to get rid of a lot of stale hot air quickly.
Yeah, no, great. And the amazing thing about louvers, I think I told you just before Christmas, that they just have this play of light. So the polished edge, you get these rainbows on the walls and on the ceilings. They can do some amazing things. But look, I think the thing about louvers is, I'm pretty sure we did on those, that they'd have a low E coating on them. So they're still an energy efficient glass. Not as good as, say, a double glaze unit, but you still get a 40% improvement. And again, you get a solar protection, and it just looks like clear glass. And so no color render in them. It's like having a fluffy insulation bat strictly stuck to the back of the glass. It's invisible. Yeah.
Hey, I do get asked exactly how much quieter this glass is by architects. We've had a lot of architects through, and they're really keen to know what the exact difference is between Lightbridge and Lightbridge Next from an acoustic point of view. What is it? Is it 20%, 30% quieter?
If you looked at the RW values between the glass, you're pretty much getting around about an 18% improvement. So the RW for 6mm Lightbridge is 38, and if you look at a normal Lightbridge, depending on the thickness, 412.4 would be around about an RW of 34. So it's about 4 RW difference. As I said before, once you get to the 8mm versus a 4mm glass, you got that 10 RW difference, which is halving. So I don't have the exact figure, but it's probably about 18%, could be 20%. Yeah. But bear in mind, it's across the frequency band. So the interesting thing about acoustics is that your frequency goes from basically 25 hertz to 5,000 hertz. So across that critical range around 1250, the difference would be, I'd have to I'm just going by memory here, it'd probably be about 4 to 5. So sounds all technical, but it's about 20%.
One thing that you can see is the incredible building in the background, which is in the background of almost every film, photo taken in the building. It's Deakin Edge. And there's some great history with Viridian Glass as well for that. And the amount of comments that we get from people overseas who just love that box, and the way it's designed. And
it was a bugger to make.
Tell us about the history of that building.
Yeah, so that when in actual fact, part of the birth of the Viridian brand was that the business was acquired a business called DMS Glass, and so that building was made under that DMS umbrella. And look, I wasn't in. I think that was supplied. It was about 2002 or 2003. I'm not sure exactly.
It's almost 20 years old. I think it's 19 years old.
Yeah, but an amazing building. There's great glass buildings around Australia. That would have to be one of the most iconic. You look at, say, the Opera House is iconic in glass in its day. It was cutting edge. It was laminated. that building really, with the Rialto and a couple other newer buildings around Melbourne, really express the ability to really take a flat monolithic product that doesn't look too, special, and you can put it into a building and cut it and make it into those shapes and put a frit on it and change the dynamics of the product to a building that looks pretty special. And a lot of people I know come to Melbourne and they'll go Fed Square and they'll just go and have a look at that building, walk through and just amaze. You always see people walking through looking up, and that's a sign that the building has something special to it.
And one of my favourite things is, I think it's one of my favourite places to actually see people speak and play. And it's because, especially at sunset, that you see the city skyline and you've got the beautiful sky in the background and the gum trees that you can see through the glass. So it's a very iconic kind of view back towards whoever it is that you're seeing.
Yeah, and look, that's the play of light and refraction through the glass, and I suppose reflection. You could look at that building 10 different times across the day and you'd see something different, and you could look at it in winter, summer, autumn and spring and you'd see something different, because the building's static, but the light, the angle of the sun and the intensity of that and the reflection of the glass is dynamic all the way through the year. So the thing is that you're not going to see that building the same tomorrow as you saw it today.
You can see our two new residents, two chickens.
They look tasty. I haven't had dinner yet.
Well, they jumped on the oven today, but it was a bit hot, and I thought, that's too. We need them for eggs, but it's Stephanie and Maggie.
Stephanie and Maggie. Maggie Beer and Stephanie Alexander.
Exactly. Yeah. two of our favourite girls.
Yeah.
So, hey, Anthony, thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate you. I have had so many people ask about it, and I'm going to do some posts about how it's made and how we went about it over the next day or so after this, after doing this. And, it's really architects especially that are coming through. I make a big point about supporting locally made glass, and it's a high quality product, and it's not, there's no need to be using an imported product. You guys do a great job here. And I think that what's really sold it for many is when they walk in and hear how quiet it is, even though there are helicopters flying over here right now and there's all sorts of noise going on, and there's people riding skateboards down the steps and
chickens outside.
Chickens outside, but it's very quiet.
No, look, we've really enjoyed. We've really enjoyed the journey with you, and we just saw the opportunity to put this product in and show people how glass can really change their lives. And the best way to do it is actually walk through it, sit in it, listen, hear. You can see all the numbers on charts and you go to websites, but until you experience it, you really can see it, and then you can imagine what it's going to be in your place. So that's why we've partnered with you. So I appreciate your support.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you staying behind tonight to do this. And when you come back down to Melbourne, you're welcome to stay the night. There's a spare bedroom.
Okay, I'll make sure I do.
It's quiet.
Thanks, mate. See you later.
See ya. Bye.